right, we should be live. Yeah, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year to you guys and everybody in the chat. Before you do, Steve, let's get a yay or a nay for the audio from the YouTube chat. Let's make sure they can hear you before you start talking, because that can be an issue sometimes. Can you guys hear both me and Steve? Because my audio streams on this microphone and everybody else is obviously my computer's desktop audio. So can you hear me and can you hear Steve? Steve, give us a sound check. All good on audio video, says Brad in the chat. Appreciate that. All right, now go on your rant, Steve. Mm-hmm. Hold up, Steve. They can't hear you. I was afraid of that. So, all right. That is strange. But that's fine. That's why we pull up pulse audio volume control. All right. Let's see. You guys should be coming through this. Now speak, Steve. Oh. All right, now I should be back. And oh, let's see, what is the issue here? Oh, yeah, I don't know what's going on here. All right, am I gone now? Okay. Yeah, well, I think what I'll have to do is I'll have to leave and come back. Yeah, I don't know. Can you hear me now? I'm sure you can. But I don't know. They can't hear George. They can't hear you, I'm assuming. Well, I haven't changed anything. I'm still... The thing I changed, got rid of my audio, but I thought it should have... I don't know. Yeah, but what audio you're coming from? All right, so it's back now. So playback of Zoom voice. You know what it is? I know what it is. Guys, give me a second. I may have to start and stop the stream because I have... No, not the Zoom call. We're going to be fine. I might have to start the... Well, I don't know. Let's see. Can you guys hear these guys now? Give us a test, sound check. I'll preview the stream. But the problem was, remember my audio issues in OBS? I disabled desktop audio from recording in OBS. I had to re-enable that. As I was looking at Pavu control, I'm like, I don't even see like an audio stream for you guys. And then it hit me what I did. So I got to make myself a note when we do these. They still can't hear you guys, so let me go. I'm probably going to stop the stream and start it again just to make sure everything is working right.
Control, because we haven't heard from him
yet. I'm going to stop the stream and I'll be right back. So you guys just hang out.
It's just that I noticed that
we should be back.
Okay. Hello.
And probably stopping and starting the stream wasn't necessary because right before I stopped, they said they can hear you guys. So, but we're good now.
Okay. So I'm going to start over. I'm just going to see if anyone in chat can acknowledge if they heard about the new Phoenix X11 server being worked on. It's not something for recent. It's something for the next couple of years, if not more. But somebody decided to revive the X11 server, adding support to all the things that it doesn't support that Wayland does, like HDR, like variable refresh rates and stuff like that. So it's being worked on, and I wanted to ask the chat the question, do you think it's a viable thing to do? And do you think any desktop environments will, if that goes viral, will they think of adopting something related to X11 again next to Wayland? Or do you all think that Wayland is the only thing going forward?
Well, I think right now, and it's been this way for about the last 3 or 4 years, pretty much all development of new desktop environments and window managers has kind of ceased because of the lack of people with expertise in Wayland and wanting to take on that huge headache of building a Wayland compositor. And then people don't want to do anything with X11 because everybody's telling people quit using X11. You're a horrible person if you use X11. So, we had people working on hundreds of different window managers and desktops. And now people are like, what's the point? Right. It's just, it's a bad state what we've gotten ourselves into. A lot of it, if Wayland had made some different decisions and just worked, quicker, we're 16 years into Wayland development. Yeah. And to be where we're at, after 16 years is crazy. It's sad.
Nothing moves fast in a vacuum that is, the Linux ecosystem either sometimes.
So naturally, I think, the people wanting something to replace X11, we're looking forward to Wayland, but at some point, I think people are going to just think, man, this thing's never going to get there, or it's going to take forever. Let's start a third project, right? So this was I think this was always going to happen at some point. I'm surprised that it's taken this long. And this is not the first one. I mean, there have been other people talking about, starting X11 development. You got the X Libre fork. You also had people talking about creating a new X11 project, X12 or something, so these kinds of discussions do come up from time to time.
Yeah, but to be fair, I think some of the people in Wayland, they saw basically X11 as in maintenance mode.
Yeah.
And it was pretty much,
Well, that's the fear mongering. You get that a lot, especially with people that don't want people to try a competing project. Like the Wayland developers want everybody to be on Wayland so they can bug test. So they try to scaremonger people into not using X11. Which is a horrible tactic, right?
Didn't Microsoft fire their in-house testers, and then they are using Windows users as their testing environment?
Well, of course, right. That's what you do. You
push. That any different than Wayland?
Well, this is what we've always done. That's what GNOME does with their desktop environment, right? They break things and they ship it, and then hey, you're the beta tester, right? This is what a lot of open source projects do: is they ship broken things. Yeah, in the chat, somebody was like 16. Dang, yeah. That Wayland was started in 2009, and like the people behind it, like some of the people at Red Hat and stuff were saying, yeah, Wayland, we're getting started here in 2009, and probably about 2010, 2011, it'll be ready. And boy, was it not. Like it.
Yeah.
We didn't have anybody using Wayland living in it on the desktop until really just about 4 or 5 years ago. I guess GNOME got really pretty good with Wayland, but if you don't want to be a GNOME user, even 16 years later in 2025, you don't want to use GNOME. I mean, what are your options with Wayland? KDE kind of works, and you got Hyperland that kind of works. Sway kind of works, but they're not perfect. They still have issues.
You hit the nail on the head there, DT. When it comes
and I don't want to use any of those window managers or desktops because I don't use desktop environments. I certainly wouldn't use GNOME. And one of my least favorite window managers of all time, as far as tiling window managers, is i3, which is basically what Sway is. Yeah. So, I prefer workflow over what display server I use. And for me, I want to use a dynamic window manager. I want to use Xmonad. I want to use Qtile. I want to use Awesome, things like that. And I'm not going to break my workflow just to use a different display manager. So that's part of the problem why so many people are reluctant to switch away from X11 is the stuff they depend on, the stuff they want to use just won't work on Wayland.
Well, and there's a lot of projects too that people use because they're almost considered feature complete,
right?
And
VI,
nobody's really maintaining them. So
the VI editor hasn't seen a update in 20 years. I don't even know if it ever will see another update. But does it need one? Every Unix-like operating system ships VI.
Well, can't you force X11 for some applications and stuff like that? Because I had to do that with Amiga Live on Linux.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you can, but here's the thing. DT, you hit the nail on the head. Although GNOME are better than others when it comes to desktop environments on Wayland.
Well, it's the same team. That's the only reason they're better is because the same people working on GNOME or working on Wayland or working on Pipewire, they're all part of the same cabal.
But here's the thing. The over there at the GNOME factory, as I call it, the developers are a little bit too set in their ways, and they don't want to budge. Like, for example, for gamers, there's a lot of users, a lot of situations where people complain about the forced vsync that GNOME implemented on Wayland. That people don't want to deal with. They want tearing. They want better frame rates. But the GNOME devs are so set in their ways, they won't budge. So that's why they move to something else. And I might be going against my own flow here by saying I've seen nothing but positivity when it comes to gaming on Wayland, on Hyperland, for example, and Cosmic. Cosmic and Hyperland, there's so little processes running in the background. Gaming is better on these things than on KDE, on GNOME, on anything larger than that when it comes to Wayland. Of course, gaming is amazing on X11-based window managers because let's face it, Steam is still struggling to switch to Wayland. Steam client is still stuck in X11 land. That's why it runs in X Wayland on Wayland. I've seen many streams where people struggle when they first run Steam on a Wayland desktop environment or window manager because scaling is not correct. Right. Because it's an X11 app. It doesn't follow Wayland. You have to manually set it in your window manager or desktop environment settings to tell X11 applications to follow the system scaling, the system settings and whatnot. So there's a lot of manual work there.
Yeah.
Steam as a corporation should have been there already, but they're still stuck on X11. Like on the Steam Deck. On the Steam Deck, people think that the Steam Deck is running in Wayland. No, it's not running in Wayland. The session you're logged into is X11 session. They do tricks to run things in Wayland.
Yeah, the problem is with a lot of the Red Hat backed projects, and you got things like GNOME and Wayland and all of that stuff, is they tend to go their own way, and they don't really take feedback from anybody else. They really don't want commits or patches from anybody else to their projects, and you end up in this situation where Wayland really is just GNOME. And if you don't want GNOME, well, what the hell am I supposed to do now?
When it comes
I'm not going to run GNOME, so
yeah.
I'm not going to run Wayland. Right? So this is, if you wanted people to use Wayland, you should have designed it in a way that it was a lot easier for other people to create compositors, and but they didn't.
Qtile is supposed to be usable on Wayland now, isn't it?
I have never been able to get it to work, but there are supposedly people that do run Qtile and Wayland. I have never actually been able to log into a Wayland session on Qtile. That could be part of my config, though.
Now the question is that on bare metal or in VM? Because Linux can behave dramatically different between
I've tried it on bare metal. It's possible I could get it to work in a VM. It could be a driver issue or something, but I've tried. But I suspect it's my config, probably. Because with Qtile, you've got a lot of, you got the panel, the bar, you got widgets. Some of the widgets definitely would not work in a Wayland session. For example, the systray widget. Systrays do not work in Wayland the same way they work in X11. Yeah. So I know that would cause a crash.
Do you install Qtile through a virtual environment, or do you use this system? Qtile?
No, I installed that one, Qtile, through Pac-Man. I guess you could install it through a virtual environment. On some distributions, you're probably going to, if it's not in the standard repo anyway. Like I don't know if it's in Debian now. I know a couple of versions back, it wasn't in the Debian repo. So if you were going to install it using pip, why not just go ahead and put it in a virtual environment?
I did that several years ago, and it worked well.
Mm-hmm.
The advantage you have is if you do that, you can install any package from PyPy and execute it directly from your RC file and your config file. Mm-hmm. And that worked really well. And you do it by pip install Qtile left bracket full right bracket, and that's supposed to install everything. It's supposed to install Wayland support as well in there, so you can give that a shot sometime maybe.
Yeah, I might play around with Qtile in a virtual environment at some point.
I've got a lot of Python I can talk about later if you want. Conch, Qtile, UV, Marine Ball.
We're definitely going to get into some Conch talk, and we're going to try to talk Steve into giving up the Rust stream and moving over to Python like a normal person.
That's a good idea.
Well, before we get there, I just wanted to talk a little bit about the whole drama going around the, how should I put it? The thing that people hate the most, the NVIDIA drivers, the way Arch handled it, which was, in my book, the worst way possible. What happened was, in case nobody is aware, the NVIDIA released the 590 stack of drivers, version of the drivers, but the way Arch approached it was, okay, so the 590 drivers don't support the legacy 900 series and 1000 series cards, Pascal, Maxwell. So the 590 drivers are just for RTX and Turing cards. So, but the way Arch handled it is they completely deleted the proprietary drivers from their repositories. And now when people with those legacy cards run an update, a system update, they'll be prompted if they want to replace the 580 drivers with the 590 drivers. But if they answer with yes, it's going to replace the 580 drivers with the 590 drivers, which do not support those legacy GPUs. So the users will, if they answer yes, will end up with a broken system. Yeah. So they handled it completely wrong. So now they moved the 580 drivers, the only proprietary drivers in existence right now for those cards, to the AUR. So they expect users to go hunting for those drivers on the AUR.
That's pretty normal for Arch on hardware once things get kind of old and they want to remove it from the core repo. Yeah, a lot of times they'll push that stuff to the AUR.
But the way they should have handled it was because they're two different file names. It's not the same file package. The Turing Plus package was called NVIDIA-Open-DKMS, and the proprietary driver was called NVIDIA-DKMS. Why didn't they keep both and freeze the NVIDIA DKMS to 580, never update it, and tell users stick to that driver and whatever? But no, they didn't want to do that. They just completely deleted it, and now users with the legacy cards are going through a lot of issues.
Yeah.
What the hell is going through their minds over there over at Arch?
Yeah, and why wouldn't, I mean, if you're going to move things to the AUR from the standard repo, because this does happen on occasion and it confuses people, especially if they're not using the AUR. Yeah. Tell them, give them a message in the terminal. Hey, we're moving this package over here. If you want it, run these commands. Give them the command to grab the git clone the AUR package and give them.
No, they posted it as a news article that nobody reads. So now, basically, what Arch is doing is basically relying on the various distro maintainers to take care of that, which the chaotic people over at Chaotic AUR, they moved the drivers to the Chaotic AUR. So me, as a result, as a distro maintainer, I had to split my ISO into two, one for NVIDIA, one for Intel and AMD, and I will be telling my users when the next release comes, if you are on legacy GPUs, install the standard ISO. We will have a button in the toolkit that will allow you to install the legacy drivers from the Chaotic AUR. But if you are on a Turing Plus GPU, just grab the NVIDIA ISO.
Yeah.
So, but we will be adding a huge pop-up, a very important pop-up when they click the button, telling the users that those drivers are unmaintained by us. They're maintained by the Chaotic AUR people. So if they cause you problem, you go report it to the Chaotic AUR people. You don't report it to me. Mm-hmm. So, I gave them a way out. So I told them, okay, you still own those legacy GPUs. You have an option, but it's not going to be supported by us. It's on you to figure things out. We split the ISO into two. If you have a modern GPU, then install that ISO. You don't need to install any drivers because the drivers are already baked in.
Yeah.
Or just do it manually like we used to do it.
Well, tell users to do things manually is like telling them to climb Mount Rushmore.
Which is funny because a lot of people are talk about the package manager makes Linux so much better. Well, it does, but if you want everything to do it yourself, the old thing was if you can't do it yourself, then buy a Mac. If anybody remembers that old insult.
Yeah. Well, I did post on my server in the Linux tips section a guide on how to. I told people, if you receive that update, do not update, do not answer yes. Here's how you do it manually. But so far, nobody's seen it, and I even pinged everyone on the server, letting them know with a link to the post. But so far, all I've gotten was, "Oh, what do I do? I just received this error." Blah, 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 blah. I'm like, okay, why do I even bother pinging everyone?
Yeah, I mean the thing about drivers too is that I remember trying to switch to AMD 14 years ago and being stuck with the AMD Catalyst drivers.
Yeah. Yeah, that was back in the day. AMD was the problem, not NVIDIA, because you would end up in a situation where the drivers would be moved out of the repos and you would have cards that just didn't have drivers anymore in the repos. Yep. And you'd have to go manually find a driver on the internet or something.
Yeah, I mean, NVIDIA still publishes old drivers and stuff like that. It's just that, they have to cut it off. If they supported all the GPUs from the beginning of the company, the talk about bloat in an
Yep.
installer,
Yeah.
it's like, where does it end? You have to have a cycle or a process in which you shift things out. Now, computer technology, yeah, a lot of things have improved in the last 10 years, since the 1080 came out. But the other thing, and the other part of that is that even though it's been that long, has technology really advanced so much with raw processing power that those things we can hold on to them longer because they're still more relevant, even though on the software side they're still stuck in the old cyclical patterns.
When people come to my server and tell me, "Oh, NVIDIA killed the 900 series and 1000 series way too early," I'm like, dude, like those GPUs have been supported way longer than even the newer GPUs. Like the 30 series have issues with the open drivers because they dropped support for those. I don't know, 2-3 years after they released them, not 10, but users think that NVIDIA just came up with a decision like a month after they released the 910 series, 1000 series cards. It's been 10 years in the making. NVIDIA has been mentioning that for the past 2.5 years that they're going to be dropping support for those GPUs. We are lucky that we got 10 years out of them. So stop. I tell people, stop complaining. You had a decade.
But there's nothing that's keeping you from installing a driver. When was the last time there was a CVE on a security issue with a GPU driver?
Not many.
Right.
Not many.
So like, there's nothing that's stopping somebody from keeping an old install.
Well, here's the advantage with the AUR is all it takes is one person who has that old card and wanted to go get it themselves. They could write a package build on, hey, where they went and grabbed the source and how they built it, and then it solves the problem for everybody. If they go, you can go find a lot of old, like 20-year-old drivers in the AUR that somebody had a problem.
The problem with these
and
old
they made the package
binary drivers is that they are built for a specific kernel and a specific
Bravo
and so on, which is why they stop working after a certain amount of time because NVIDIA stops supporting them. But this is why using free software drivers like AMD tries to do, and which Intel also does.
Well, we have the Nouveau driver.
But then we have, because when we have the open and free drivers, then the Linux kernel maintainers decide when it's time to retire a driver, and they are very conservative with retiring old hardware.
Yeah,
right.
Exactly.
Well,
so
part of the problem too is the kernel modules. The kernel that tie in with the kernel. That's the big problem.
Yeah, that's why on the Arch on Arch there's the DKMS out of kernel modules. That way you can install those drivers, whatever kernel you're using. It'll be compiled against that kernel. But the problem with Nouveau that you mentioned, DT, Nouveau and Wayland, it's like mixing oil and water. So they have to stick to X11, and if KDE and GNOME drop X11, then
that's getting back to our Wayland problems. If the people working on the free driver can't make it work with Wayland, is that a Nouveau problem or is that a Wayland problem?
Toss it wherever you want.
Right.
Problem with
blame that.
A little bit of both, probably. Yeah, you're right.
My problem with Nouveau, and to some extent the old AMD open source that was an AMD GPU, was the fact that the performance was so much of a difference. You have to have a better graphics card to get the performance that you would.
Well, even with a good graphics card, the Nouveau driver, depending on what you're doing, it's not a great experience.
Exactly. That's what I mean is that it's you can talk. It's great for just using a computer, but to really make use of your hardware.
Like I can't imagine using a program like Blender And then using the Nuvo driver, like I can imagine, I would just want to go jump out of a window.
Yeah. But there
Preferably
is
from the first floor.
Yeah.
but there is light at the end of the tunnel. I read an article recently on Phoronix where they were mentioning that, remember the old AMD GPU driver, it's called, now is called Radeon driver. They're merging that with kernel 619, and they're promising a 30% boost for those old GPUs. So they're bringing back.
We didn't get into the kernel releases for this past month. Usually we would have already talked about that. What kernel are you on now, Steve? You on the latest?
I am on the latest 618 plus, and good thing you mentioned that because I have a gripe with it. 618 plus, but the Zen 3 version, because my
you're using Zen
3.
Yeah, I'm using just the I'm using the CachyOS.
The one that comes with CachyOS, right. Yeah.
But I'm not using Zen.
But I have a gripe with the 618 kernel because I don't know if anyone here uses a virtual camera on OBS.
Not usually. I've played with it in the past, but I haven't played with it lately.
I used to have it as because the virtual camera allows you to stream whatever you see on your scenes and whatever from OBS to Discord. And it uses the V4L2 loopback TKMS and utils. But if you upgrade to kernel 6.18, whichever version, so far since the 6.18 first .0 and onwards.
Yeah, I'm on .1.
Yeah, so we are at .2 now. But the
well, I didn't update this morning, Steve.
So the issue with the 6.18 kernel and V4L2 loopback, I don't know who to blame, but as soon as you upgrade to whatever 6.18 kernel that came out and you have V4L2 loopback installed, it's going to cause a kernel panic.
Wow.
I've never seen a kernel panic in all my 8 years of using Linux. This was the first time, and I reported it to the V4L2 loopback developers, no reply, dead silence. I reported it to the kernel upstream, dead silence. So I don't know who to blame. But I've tried it on the desktop, on the mini PC, on a laptop. It doesn't matter where you install it. It's not a machine issue. It's somewhere between those two. As soon as I removed V4L2 loopback, the kernel panic disappeared. Yeah.
Before wiping out my previous Arch installation, and then this new installation of Cachy's only been up a month, but on the old installation there before I wiped it out, I was having an issue in Discord where if I tried to share my screen, it would crash the desktop. Yeah, like it would just crash X11. It was kind of weird.
Yeah. Don't get me started on those.
It reminds me of
go ahead,
your audio problem. I looked on AI and it said it might be a kernel update is one of the possible causes for audio stuff.
Always blame the kernel.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it could be. No, I'm pretty sure it's something with Pipewire with that. I don't think that's a kernel issue.
But kernels are a fecal animal. It's a fecal animal. It's always issues. So I don't do virtual camera anymore. I just killed it off. I don't need it anymore. I just removed it. And I saw something with OBS recently. They fixed the multiple audio input issue, the crackling. A lot of people were complaining about crackling issues when they had multiple audio sources. They fixed that, apparently. I don't have that. I'm not rich enough to be able to afford a soundboard or whatever you call it, a mixer. But they fixed that recently, and you don't need a plugin anymore, basically, because previously you needed a plugin in order to do that.
I remember everybody had to go and compile a special version of OBS, to fix their Pipewire problems. I had a special package. What was it, like OBS Pipewire or something?
OBS Pipewire plugin. Yeah. That's the one. Yeah. Now you don't need it anymore, apparently. But it only they only fixed I don't know. I don't know if that's correct or not. I haven't tried it again because I don't have multiple audio sources. But some people are saying it's only with the native Arch package, not the Flatpak. Although the Flatpak is the only official package, so I don't know.
Well, I don't know if that'll fix my problems then, because my problems really didn't have anything to do with the package format, because I tried them all. Every way that OBS was packaged, I still had audio issues. So I don't think that's why I don't think it was necessarily, OBS. I really think it was something they pushed out with a Pipewire update that messed me up. I don't know.
By the way, I have a hardware question for you guys. I know not all of you are hardware savvy, but I came back. If nobody knows, I just came back from a 2-month trip to Serbia/Greece. The temperature in those countries, although it says -5, but it's just a number. It doesn't feel like -5. It felt like more like 12 degrees Celsius. But when I came here back to Leb, the temperature is so cold, I feel it. And our home is not very well insulated. So I turned on my desktop PC for the first time, and I turned it again the second time today. It takes 15 minutes for the CPU to warm up to a certain temperature for the computer to respond correctly, because otherwise, if it's still too cold, the whole system will hang and freeze and whatever. It needs,
you got to be careful with that.
Is that a common issue?
Yes. Yeah, I haven't done it in a while, but say 20, 25 years ago, I did have a computer that was outdoors and in like a building that wasn't heated. And, in the dead of winter, that computer, if you tried to boot it up, it would just, you weren't getting anything for a while. It was just too damn cold. But you do have to be careful.
I'm thinking the same thing. Yeah, I'm thinking the same thing.
And I'm not sure if that's necessarily a good thing to try to boot a computer when it's that cold either. So be careful with it.
Yeah, because I don't use it as much anymore because I've been using my mini PC in Serbia for so long. All my projects are on there. Everything is on it and everything. I'm keeping my main PC turned off until I need it. But as soon as I turn it off for like a couple of hours, it goes to freezing temperatures. And when I turn it back on, it's because, like I said, we don't have a well-insulated house, and the warming is just the AC above my head, and it takes like 3 hours for it to warm the room enough. So I don't know. I need to find a solution for that because it's annoying. I can't use my computer for like 15 minutes after boot.
I wonder if you could speed up the process. Maybe, as soon as it boots, just immediately have it start compiling the kernel. Get that CPU working a little bit.
No, not compile the kernel, but have startup applications. Applications start up.
Run a fork bomb or something that's going to make it work a little bit.
Use an electric blanket around it.
Yeah, I'm thinking of adding startup applications like local send and Bitwarden and stuff to start up. So that'll make the CPU cycle a little bit faster. But
this reminds me of so I have a friend, I may have mentioned him before. I have a friend who has in his shed, he has a half a rack with a few with one server and some equipment in, and this is an outside shed. So we live in Norway, and 2 or 3 years ago, it was a very cold period, like it was 20 degrees below 0 Celsius. That's used to be normal here 10, 15 years ago. But and so being curious, I help administer this service. I am root on this server, so I logged in just to see what the sensors said. And so he has a Supermicro 4U or something. I don't remember, but he has something like 60 or something CPU cores on that thing. And one of the CPUs reported -2 degrees while it was running.
While it was running?
Yeah.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
And this is a server that runs 24/7, so it had been running for almost a year at that point, and it was -2 on the CPU.
And how was that working?
It was working.
That's a miracle.
It was working fine. There was no errors or any kind. There was no problem.
Maybe it's a special. Maybe because it's a special server CPU.
That's where they should put all the Bitcoin mines. Is you know, where Sobu's at, because you don't have to worry about cooling, right? You just
Yeah, I have a friend who used to have a house outside of Oslo somewhere, and he said that so this was an old house built in the early 50s or something after the war, and he had 2 bedrooms full of old systems and so on, and he said that when it's cold outside, really cold, he would just fire up between 8 and 10 servers and run a fork bomb on them, or a compile job for a few minutes.
Melt the ice. Yeah, that's a good idea.
And that actually worked. He actually used a fixed amount of servers depending on the temperature in order to heat his house.
I can actually make this room 10 to 15 degrees warmer, especially in the winter when it's cold. Like if I've come in here and for whatever reason the heat hadn't been on, and it's a really cold day, all I need to do is turn the 3 monitors on and then pull up Kden Live and start rendering a video, any video, and it's going to max out the CPU. And let that run for about 5-10 minutes. It'll be easy 10 degrees warmer in this room.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can warm a room really quick.
Yeah, in my flat, so I used to live in a flat for 19 years before I moved into a house 6 years ago. And so this was a small flat, 32 square meter flat, 1 bedroom and so on. And I had 4, 5 or 6 computers running, and it kept it warmed the entire flat during the winter. So I used to my electricity bill was highest in the summer because I was I think I was the only home in the county that actually used AC in the summer.
Well, DT, you mentioned crypto earlier, which reminded me about the fact that Zero Linux now accepts crypto.
Yeah, that's great.
I answered the question. I said better late than never. So I added a button to accept crypto, but nobody has donated crypto yet. I don't know,
especially in our space. You know, you got a lot more nerds in the Linux space, so a lot of people are going to have some Bitcoin laying around. So you might as well take payment in it. There's nothing wrong with it. I mean,
it was requested like for the past 3 years. It's been requested. I kept refusing because to me it was monopoly money. But then I was
here's the trick with this, Steve. I'm just giving you some financial advice here. Save all that Bitcoin that they send you. Just don't touch it. Spend the US dollars and they get sent to you, but the Bitcoin, just leave it alone.
Yeah, that's what that's what I'm thinking. But a lot of people requested it, but yet nobody has used it. That's so weird.
Because Bitcoin right now, especially, it's way down its price, so it's probably going to appreciate pretty nicely in value, over the next few years. So just sit on whatever you get.
I use 3 currencies: the Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Tron TRX, USDT Tron TRX. But I don't know if I'm doing it right. This is another question I want to throw your way. I created a page where people donate. There's the wallet addresses, the three wallet addresses, and then I said, if you donate, you send the transaction ID. You put the transaction ID in a box plus your email. You hit submit. I will receive an email. Once I receive the confirmation check, you will receive a code that I will generate for you to access Zero Linux. But am I doing it right, or people don't usually send the transaction ID? I don't know. I've never done it before. I just created a website, told the people, here's the wallet address. Donate to that wallet address, Ethereum or USDT or whatever. And then once you receive a transaction ID, confirmation ID, like a receipt kind of thing. I don't know if that's the way it works in crypto.
Well, I mean, you have to. I guess it'll depend how you're receiving the crypto, because Usually, you'll have to, transfer it from their wallet to your wallet.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. They
Yeah.
transfer it from their wallet to my wallet. They receive a confirmation, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I told them to, okay, copy the confirmation, put it in the box, and then include your email. It's in a box below. Hit submit. It will send me an email and confirmation email. Then I will see them, check my wallet. Okay, I see the money. Then I generate a code, and I send them I reply to that email. Not that email, but I will email you to the email you included with the code.
Yeah,
that's the way I did it. I don't know if it's correct or wrong.
I don't know. I'm not really following.
I've never dealt
some
with
of that.
Crypto before, so I'm like,
well, yeah, but you're dealing with people trying also to get something after they send you the money. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah,
I've never tried to set up a payment store or something with.
Because that's the way it is on Ko-Fi. Ko-Fi, they donate. I receive an email. They receive an email with the URL to download the ISO, but they can't download the ISO until they input their email and the code I will generate for them. So it's been working for the past 2 years, but I don't know how crypto works. So I use the same method for crypto. Like you send me the thing, I receive an email, you will receive a code for it. But I don't know if I'm doing it right or wrong. So if anybody in chat can confirm or deny, that'll help a lot. So I just created the website using Claude because I'm not a web dev.
Well, you need to find somebody that'll send you a little Bitcoin to test it out.
I did. I received the money. With my friend sent me $5 to my USDT. I received it, but he didn't do it via. Well, he did it via my form, but he didn't send me the confirmation ID on the form. He sent me the confirmation ID on Discord. So I don't know if the form works.
Oh well. You need
but
a
if
web
it works
dev.
on Discord, it should work on that form.
Find you somebody that wants to fix your website. Then that's what you need.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know. I'm doing a lot of new things on Zero Linux. I'm no longer closed-minded as I used to be because someone did bring the issue up front. He was like, "You're too closed-minded. You need to be more open-minded." That's why I decided to split the ISO into two. I never wanted to split the ISO into two, but now I'm willing to go the extra mile,
Yeah. Well, so they're lucky. They're lucky they've got you for a distro maintainer, because if they had somebody like me, they'd really know what closed-minded was, because you're getting the TTY and nothing else out of the box. Whatever you put on it, hey, that's your business. I want no part of it.
Yeah, but
speaking of closed-minded, I did have a question from the YouTube chat. Somebody was asking, would I ever check out the Yazzie terminal file manager? Probably not, because it wouldn't be something I would ever use personally myself, so it wouldn't interest me. My file manager is Bash. Like I rarely ever use a proper file manager.
Yeah, the only time I am actually using a proper file manager, I'm using the Midnight Commander.
Midnight Commander, yeah. I mean, I've played around with Midnight Commander in the past. I played around with VIFM, Ranger. I mean, there's a lot of these terminal file managers, and I have taken a look at some of them on camera, but I've never really used any of them.
I only use the Midnight Commander when I need to look inside an archive, and I can't be bothered with the opening a GUI application because it's just faster in the terminal.
I do have a GUI file manager on my system, PCman FM. The only time I pull it up, sometimes I'll demonstrate stuff on camera where I need to show people where files are located in a certain directory, and that's the easiest way to show it. And in Emacs, I have a file manager inside Emacs. Obviously,
I live in Crusader file manager, KDE. The dual pane, you can copy folders left to right and compare folders.
But
you have little buttons up top, so you can select the folder and say if it's an image folder, you can invoke an image
Yeah, I'm just the wrong person to get excited about a terminal file manager. Unfortunately, I know the person in the chat was very excited about it, but I just use the GNU Core utils to move files around and stuff. I don't. So
I use NCDU for checking file sizes of folders and stuff like that.
Yeah, that's an awesome tool. I discovered it 2 years ago, and yeah, I love it.
Yeah, better than Midnight Commander.
Although I am a KDE guy, I should be trying Crusader out, but I'm set in my ways. I'm stuck to Dolphin when I want to use a proper file manager. That's it.
And, Crusader is a KDE application.
I know. That's why I said, although I am a KDE.
The one time I'll pull up the graphical file manager is if I'm auto mounting a USB drive or an external drive. A lot of times I'll pull up my GUI file manager to make sure that stuff got mounted correctly. But outside of that, nah.
I recently learned. I know I'm late to the game. I'm old. I go slow, but I recently discovered how to mount not network drives, web drives. Like I have a web dev drive. Okay, who tried my form?
Is it working?
Yeah, it's working. But I discovered how to mount web dev drives. I have a website where I store files like Google Drive, because everybody who uses KDE would know that mounting web dev drives like Google Drive and Microsoft's whatever it's called on KDE, it's impossible. It's impossible. Even if you have all the
OneDrive with Microsoft,
GVFS,
right?
Yeah, even if you have the GVFS packages installed, they only work on GNOME. They don't work on KDE. So KDE, this is a problem that has existed with KDE for 20 plus years. They're not gonna fix this. I would be old and walking on one foot before they fix it. But I discovered this because I really was desperate to mount web dev drives. Really desperate. I discovered it, and I don't know who made a video about it. I don't remember. I think it was a Linux experiment, if I'm not mistaken. But I did it the manual way, using FSDAB and using different other packages. So I'm like, yay! Finally, I can mount them on KDE. If any KDE dev is watching this, fix that damn issue already. It's 20 years too late already.
Yeah, and for those who doesn't know, Crusader is kind of like Midnight Commander, only in a GUI version. It works in the same way as the old Windows Commander that was later renamed to Total Commander. Yeah. It's the same interface. So people who prefer those types of file managers, Crusader is worth.
It reminds me a lot of FileZilla. Because FileZilla is on the right is the remote server, on the left is the local. It's very reminiscent of these kind of things. I don't like the UI. It doesn't. And the worst part of this one,
it hasn't been updated, I don't think, in
ages.
Right. So
yeah, it doesn't get themed correctly.
You're all about the theme. What about the functionality, Steve?
Well, functionality is like Somu said. It's very reminiscent.
Obviously, they have not ported it over to Qt 6 or whatever we're on now.
6.11, but yeah.
Oh well, you say you knew the exact. I knew you'd be up to date on the Qt development. So.
Yeah, but I have to be. I'm a distro maintainer. I have to know version for version.
Well,
but
you're going to help me with my Python Qt app that I'm going to start working on soon.
Python Qt app, nice. It's called PyQt6. I think it's called PySide. It's called PySide.
There's two separate projects, but yeah, you're right on both.
Yeah, PySide is what I was going to build my my post installation toolkit with. Mm-hmm. But then when the developer offered to help, he was like, "No, GTK4. And when he said GTK4, I remembered how the Wayland theme that I use on Zero Linux. I'm never gonna use anything else because I love that theme. But the Wayland theme, when it comes to GTK4, it's broken everywhere. Like the window decoration is like an inch thick, and the buttons are ovals. And I decided to ship Zero Linux without the GTK4 theme. Just skip it. If they want to theme their GTK apps, they can look for a theme themselves. I'm not gonna bother with it.
No, you just need to try to patch it yourself. Contribute back to the main project. You create the GTK4 theme.
Yeah, I struggle with bash scripts, let alone theming.
If you're doing Python GUI apps, there's 3 of them. There's Streamlit, there's Nice Guy, and there's a new more called Marimo. So if you're doing things like Matplotlib and visualization, bar charts.
Yeah, I played around a little bit with the Nice Guy thingy. Yeah, it's a good way to make some simple, basically web apps using Python.
Displayed in the browser, so you have all the browser display functionality. My one Nice Guy was using AI. I have text area, and then I used to have, when I started, 5 AI sites, so I could enter information in the prompt and then hit one button and open up five tabs in the browser with the prompt. I've got it up to 10 now, and I have check boxes at the bottom, so I can select any combination of the 10 and hit one button and send the prompt to all those AIs. And works really well with Nice Guy on it.
Cool.
Yeah, and somebody mentioned, whoever used my form mentioned I should use reCAPTCHA to protect against bots. Good idea.
Yeah, good suggestion.
Is that you, George? Oh, George is not here. Okay, so whoever did, it's a good idea because it's free form, so many bots could spam me.
Yeah, these days, I mean, we're just overrun with AI and spam bots and everything else going on.
Yeah, I should do that.
You guys hear me?
Yeah, we got you.
Good.
Big Pod?
Yeah, that's me.
Yeah, hey, Big Pod.
Hey.
So, I will implement that. But speaking of Python, did you guys see the Brody Robertson video where he talked about people creating a fake Cloudflare error page using Python?
No.
It was a fun video. Yeah, it was a fun video. People creating fake Cloudflare error messages on websites to scare people because of all the issues Cloudflare has been having the past month or two. It was like, hey, let's create something with Python that would scare people. Oh, come on. Like, people aren't scared already as it is.
Yeah, the most ingenious way scam that was happening lately was the guys who used a flaw in Apple's ticketing system to make people believe that it was actually Apple contacting them by creating a ticket in their name on Apple's ticketing system, and have them go to this, which verified that yes, this was an Apple page, and the ticket about what they claimed problem was there. So.
Yeah, good thing you mentioned Apple, because recently I saw an article, some guy called Paris from Australia. He had tens of thousands of dollars poured into Apple, and he was an Apple developer, Apple application developer, and so on. He had 20 plus years of Apple ecosystem. He's been living in the Apple ecosystem for the past 20 plus years. He tried to buy a $500 he bought a $500 gift card. He put the code in, and that triggered a domino effect where he got all his accounts deleted, all his stuff deleted, and his account got flagged. And none of the Apple employees would help him. They were like, "Sorry." All his life, because it was his business. His Apple ID was his business. So all his business was granted to a halt because nobody at Apple would help him. They were like, no, it was flagged because whatever, we can't help you. Goodbye. And
these days, a lot of scamming is done via gift cards. So if he was spending a lot of money on a gift card, that's going to
but it was for a
flag.
business. Yeah. It's not. He wasn't buying himself anything. He was trying to pay for his business iCloud storage, which I think he had 20 terabytes, 25 terabytes, or whatever, because he's a developer. He has all his stuff on the iCloud, but it got flagged. Why? Don't ask me. It's his. Put all your eggs in one basket. That's on him. But his business is an Apple business, so it's related
all
to
he
Apple
needs to do. He just needs to contact a lawyer. I mean, that's that's he'll get his money back because Apple's not going to go to court over. He won't have enough money that they're going to want to go to court over. They'll give him his money back.
Well, the situation was solved yesterday.
Well, then there you go.
And guess who solved it for him? There are some people apparently at Apple who are damage control people.
Of course.
They don't want their to have negativity surrounding their name, so they sent the damage control.
I'm sure
people.
they own a whole law firm, right? Nothing but people there to handle this crap.
Yeah, apparently what happened was the store where he bought the card by mistake had a scammy card. So it flagged the whole system. So after, I don't know, 3 weeks.
This is one of the most common things these days is with these kinds of scams is people will contact typically the elderly. And, they know they can't just have them pay with a credit card or something that can get tracked and the charges could get overturned. What they do is they tell them, hey, you owe this money for whatever, you've got to pay this money. They'll scare them. Here's how you're going to pay me. You're going to go to Walmart or wherever.
Western Union.
You're going to buy a gift card. You're going to put $500 on a gift card, and then you're going to give me the gift, but basically the number on the gift card. And then, they've got the money, nothing,
And they also tell them, they coach them as to what to say if they are challenged about why they're buying this. I remember, I think it was the UK anti-scam hunter, Jim something. He makes maybe a video a month. He showed a video where they actually manage. So he usually tracks down these people who are being scammed because he can see the scammer systems, and he called them up, and he managed to get the police in the US to intercept this. And even when the police told the lady that this was a scam, she still
bought.
So this was in order for her to she had bought a gift card, but to avoid her from giving it to, she still didn't. They used an hour to convince her that this was a scam.
I've had to convince a few people when I was working in retail. I remember one place I was working. It's a large department store, and I was one of the supervisors. And one of the cashiers called me to, for some gift cards or whatever. And this older lady was buying like $800 worth of gift cards, which that size, you need approval, you need a manager basically. So, I'm like, and I already know because how the scam works. And it's like, this is probably not good. So I asked her why she was buying the card. She said, well, the IRS called me and, I guess I messed up on my taxes or whatever. The IRS called you. And it's like, yeah, apparently I owe, thousands of dollars or whatever, but they'll settle for, $800. And, they told me, to make a payment. I had to come to the store today, get $800 worth of gift cards. And I had to explain to her, that's not real. Those are scammers. They're con artists. They're stealing your money. Like, I'm not going to give you this gift card. And I think after I talked to her for about 10 minutes, tried to explain to her, that it's common. This goes on everywhere. Millions of people get scammed this way. She got it. But especially with the elderly, sometimes it takes a little while to convince them that, hey, that person that was frightening them, scaring them into going and buying those gift cards, that wasn't a real person. That's somebody. That's somebody not even in the U.S. because they would be subject to laws here. It's somebody.
Yeah.
In Russia,
sometimes
somebody in some other countries. Right?
Sometimes they call them right back to see if they have Alzheimer's, and they'll do the spiel again.
Oh, yeah.
So in my country, Norway, we are this IRS scam. It's called something else here, obviously, but it doesn't happen because no one, and unless you run your own business or you are a business, no one files their taxes in any way unless they need
Same here in Slovenia. Yeah.
It's done for you by the tax authority, and if there is a problem, they will contact you via postal.
Registered mail.
Yeah. And here in the U.S., it may differ in other countries, but if you, like in this lady's case, think you may have committed a federal crime, they're not going to call you on the phone. Tell you that. They're going to send somebody to you and probably arrest you or serve you with some papers. They're not going to call you on the phone.
And the worst version of this is when websites pretend to, because here in Lebanon, because we don't have Lebanese iTunes cards, they don't exist. Apple never made Lebanese iTunes cards. So basically, what has become a common practice is for people to buy create a US iCloud account, the store account, and buy US iTunes gift cards online. And this is where the scam becomes worse because online cards can be AI generated.
Yeah,
it's like a it's like a GitHub token generator or password generator for Bitwarden. They generate valid codes that work on iTunes, but they get flagged. They get immediately flagged, but it's a common scam here. People buy iTunes gift card online because they don't have any other choice. There are no iTunes gift cards, physical cards here. And if you find a store that has gift cards, maybe they're 10 years out of date. But, online. Don't buy online gift cards from random shitty websites. Just buy them from Apple itself, because Apple does offer on their website to buy iTunes gift cards.
Another thing I would caution people, and you see this a lot with, again, elderly people, don't go buy stuff off of a random website.
Yeah.
If you're going to purchase something, purchase it from Amazon.com or Walmart.com. Don't go purchase it from some scammy website that it looks like somebody just threw up yesterday, and give them your credit card information. I've seen this with a family member, buying like electronics or something, for a gift or something, and then they get it and it's not what they ordered. Like, it's obviously just some cheesy fake item that didn't cost what they paid for it. And then, there's no actual number to get support, right? It's a fake company altogether. I'm surprised they sent them anything anyway, but it's crazy, the stuff that happens.
I've seen one thing that I almost fell to the floor in shock.
No.
There was a lady that was requested to take a picture of an elderly lady who was requested to take a picture of her credit card.
No.
Via her phone, and send it via WhatsApp.
Yeah.
And when I told her not to do that, she was like, "But WhatsApp is end-to-end encrypted." I'm like, okay.
And why does it matter?
but it sounds good. Is what it sounds. Oh, that makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah, it reminds me of, I think it is 20 years ago when a lot of sound advice at the time was that if you had the padlock icon in your URL bar, then the site was safe.
Yeah.
They
of
can
course.
fake that so easily. They can fake
Yeah,
that
or
so
they could
easily.
or they could have a certificate of their own, which is easier now with Let's Encrypt. So just because something is encrypted doesn't mean it
Doesn't
is
make
safe.
it so. Yeah.
It
We had
wasn't just that. You should remember that, first of all, the big problem was that actually people didn't know what that sign meant, first of all. Then, when people explained to them, they started seeing that thing everywhere. So, a lot of people, first of all, thought that that was a shopping bag.
Yeah, I
was
could see
first.
that. Yeah, I could see
Yeah.
how that could
So
confuse
they
people.
equated it when any kind of store had a shopping bag on their website as a logo for the cart, automatically that meant the page is secure.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
That was the big problem with it. Beyond just that, the secure part, which never actually yes, that advice was kind of like Linux is secure advice. Use Linux if you want to be secure, which means nothing because those people who actually were talking about this from position of authority said that the communication between you and the server was secure, and if server is piece of shit criminals, it doesn't matter. You're just having a secure communication with those criminals.
Yeah,
This
exactly.
this just shows that when people it's yeah, a little easier now because people are getting used to the online world, but at least back then people wasn't used to doing things online, and the same people who would fall for these scams and to some degree still fall for them today, they would never fall for the same if it was done physically in the real world, because in the real world they know how things work and how things should look, and if something is out of place they will go an extra mile to
No.
verify. But
Let's be realistic. Everybody can fall for a scam.
yeah, but I said it's easier to fall for this online because online most people don't know how things are supposed to work. Whereas in a physical world, you go into a store when you want something, and you can actually look at what you're buying, and you can order it from them and have it be shipped to them, and so on. So to some degree,
Yeah,
it's easier to verify things in the real world
yeah,
than
but how
the
many people buy things off the side of the road or like
Oh,
in the
Here
Big
all the
Bud,
time.
Big Bud, stop. I will stop you right there because you are thinking about. I don't blame you. I don't blame you whatsoever. But you are thinking about countries that look like yours. But in Lebanon, people's and Greece, Greece even. I was there before yesterday. They sell things on the side of the road in Serbia as well. Serbia, they sell.
Yeah, they do, but there it is a lot harder to know what is real and what is a scam. That's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, true.
It's a lot easier to hide the scam. It happens
Yeah.
here too. Like you can get some good stuff of the
Yeah,
on the
you
parking
can buy a
lot,
fancy
but at the same
watch,
time you
right?
can get a box of rocks just as quickly, or you get, I don't know, a lot of things like cutlery and plates and stuff like that, or kitchen
4
stuff.
terabyte
Kitchen stuff is
USB.
sold.
Yeah.
Actually, that's easy to scam people with this electronics because most people are not gonna know, what's legit or what's not. Usually, people can spot like fake jewelry and stuff like that.
Well,
But when
can
it comes
you
to
spot
tech
a
stuff,
fake
yeah,
knife? Can you spot a cheap knife versus a proper kitchen knife? Can you
No,
spot the
not easily.
difference in a second?
Not easily. Not easily.
That's
Like,
what I'm talking about. Like it is just as equally likely if you go, let's say you have a parking lot vendor who's selling you this great knife for €100. It is just as likely that they are selling you snake oil, just
yeah,
as
especially
they're selling you actually a good knife.
especially you're describing basically what happened to my brother-in-law. My brother-in-law he wanted to gift my sister stainless steel cutleries, He bought them from the only place he knows where to find this stuff. It's a Chinese store, knockoff store. So after 6 months, they started corroding. I'm like, hey, Dragan, you know the difference between stainless steel and it says it in the name, stainless. And now they're corroding. That doesn't look like stainless steel to me. It was like, but they were only for 30 euros, the whole set.
Exactly.
In other places online, I will find it for 200 euros. I didn't have that money, so I'm like, okay, but next time, ask me before you do anything.
That's
but that's more of a situation of you got what you paid for more than, I mean, I guess you got scammed too.
You didn't know the difference between stainless steel and non-stainless steel.
Yeah.
That's what Big Bot is talking about. It's hard.
It isn't
hard to tell them apart.
It isn't about how to spot the problem. It is about that the on internet, online, they just have to take different tactics than they have to take in real life. But at the end of the day, if they actually try, they can scam anybody. How many people fall for the scam where I don't know whatever they sell, ring on your door, and they sell books or sell subscriptions to magazine. How many old people fall for that just as much as they fall for internet scams, as they fall for phone scams? Just tactic is different. Not end result is the same.
Yes, but speaking of which, because of the the recent RAM price hike and the memory price hike, anything that uses memory chips will hike in price. Because of that, the amount of scams are gonna skyrocket.
Oh yeah, be careful buying computer parts off of eBay. I'm just gonna warn people about that. You'd be surprised when you get shipped something that is totally not what you ordered.
Not only that, there's a person who ordered a GPU that he found on eBay during those price hikes that he found for an amazing price. All he got was a box of rocks.
That's
and I also remember someone who did something similar, and he got the box where the item came in, but nothing inside.
I remember there was a time when literally they went so far as to actually delete the CPU and use an old CPU with a new IHS.
Yes, I saw that.
Even if you grab the CPU, you couldn't tell the difference unless you actually knew how the hell should the actual substrate, the PCB, look like from the side.
And that's why warranties are only good from authorized resellers and stuff.
Yeah.
Be careful buying computers on eBay.
Yeah, especially now.
Because unless you're going to break the computer down and go look at all the parts, chances are some of that stuff is not what you thought you were getting.
Don't buy.
Yeah, I still remember the video that Louis. I think he made 3 or 4 videos of it at the time. Louis Rossmann 3 or 4 years ago, he made a series of videos in a short order. So he was buying fuses, I think, and he discovered there was something wrong with them, and they were from between 2 and 10 amps, so all the steps in between, and everyone failed at the same rate, which was 10 amps. They were just labeled differently.
Especially now, the biggest warning right now in this period of time. Do not buy used pre-builts. Used pre-builts.
I disagree.
A person bought. I watched a video where a person bought a very cheap pre-built with a 3060 in it or a 3070 Ti in it. The 3070 was there, the CPU was there, but the RAM that was there were dummy RAM. Dummy sticks.
Do not buy random pre-builts. That's what you're trying to say.
That's what I'm trying to say, like off of Facebook Marketplace and stuff like that.
But remember, that should always have been the case. I never understood the third-party places to sell where you send the money and then send you by post. I never understood that because I never trusted those people. If I'm gonna buy something,
if I want something off the shelf,
secondhand, I'm gonna go to them.
And
if I remember 4 or 5 years ago,
something. new, I'm going to the store to buy there. Yes, I get a markup. Who cares?
So
Yeah.
4 or 5 years ago, I upgraded my desktops, and I've upgraded again since. So there was a good deal. So I don't use eBay, and I have visited when
Neither do
people
I.
send links and so on. I never buy from eBay because I don't trust eBay. So I use the Norwegian equivalent to eBay. So I found a deal in my old city, so it's 2 hours drive away. And when I got there, I had the money in cash and so on. And I remember he actually, before he asked me for money, he powered on the systems and let me play with them just to verify everything worked. That is how you should. So when you're buying a used system
Yeah.
as a whole,
Yeah.
start it up and verify that something is booting in them and verify that it works, and then do the buy.
The only
general
time
advice to people is always check if thing works.
Yeah.
If it's a computer, meet somewhere where you can get that computer to work.
Yeah.
Have my general advice is also either have an expert in that thing with you, or if you're an expert yourself, have a USB with something like Ubuntu or something that you can independently verify the components instead of have what is already installed verify components for you.
Yeah,
It's
like
Because
no
that
different
can be
than buying a
fudged.
car.
yeah,
You need to
like
try the car before you buy it, unless you
Yeah,
buy
like-
from a trusted source.
like the only time I experienced eBay, being in Lebanon and whatnot, the guy said we delivered to Lebanon, no problem, through a third party, of course. I ordered the G15 keyboard. I don't know if you remember the Logitech, the first gen G15 keyboard, the humongous one with the LCD screen. The guy he had pictures on eBay showing the LCD monitor working, everything just fine, just the keyboard being a little bit dirty because it's used, whatever. So I ordered it. When it arrived here, the LCD he sent me the G11, not the G15. The G11 is the G15 minus the LCD screen. So he scammed me. He asked for he charged me for the G15, but sent me the G11. So basically, I paid $50 more for something that doesn't have an LCD screen.
Mm.
So I never used eBay again.
Well, you take a chance buying used stuff.
Yeah,
If
especially
you're gonna buy
when you don't
something
have
that's-
access to them.
Well, if you're going to buy something new, though, I mean, there's no reason not to go to a reputable store, or,
Or
even an
even
online
a
store.
recycler, even
Right,
a reputable
yeah.
recycler.
Yeah,
I've been unlucky only once, and that was with my brother, and he was feeling bad at the time. So I had a Peugeot 505 1985 model. I had it for a year, and then rust crept up, and I needed to replace it. And my brother had the identical car, only in another color. So I got it for cheap. I think I paid $100 at the time for the car. And I drove it home, and the next day I went to the insurance company and got the insurance in my name, and I registered it in my name at the DMV and so on. And on my way from the insurance company, I drove for 1 minute, and then the fan belt broke, and it turned out that the water pump had just broke. So that's the only time I've actually been unhappy, and I didn't have any money to fix anything at the time, so I just so both those cars were scrapped a month later. So that's the only time I've been unlucky.
Like for me, like now I need a new monitor to replace my old dead one, because not because I'm cheap, it's because that's all I can afford. I was looking at used, but I remembered the eBay situation with the keyboard. I was like, nah, I'd rather put in a couple of bucks more, $100 more, and buy new, because I don't want to go through all this all over again. So I decided, whatever. It's only one monitor. I'm not buying 10, so it's fine. But yeah, if you want to buy used stuff, buy only stuff you have access to test and make sure it works. Otherwise, don't trust the pictures online, because this is the easiest way for people to scam you.
I think the funniest scam story I read, this is 20 or 15 or 20 years ago. So So someone in the US, he had a power book that he was selling because he had replaced it with a new one. So I think he used eBay. So he had it for sale, and then some guy in London wanted to buy it, and he was wondering if they could use. So at that time, anyway, it was common to use an escrow type service where you pay into an account of a third party company. I think eBay had one at the time. And they keep your money, they keep the money until both the seller and the buyer are
Yeah.
happy with yeah. And this guy, he used a third party escrow, and he was wondering if they could use that. So this guy agreed to that, and then he checked it out and discovered the site was put up just the day before. The domain was 1 day old and so on. Very professional looking for the time, but so he ended up and he reached out to a forum for what he should do because he was mad, and then he wanted to have some fun with him. So they and after getting some advice, he took an old pizza box and opened it, and then he had an old keyboard he was throwing away. So he extracted every single keycap and he glued them to the bottom of the pizza box, and then he glued a broken LCD screen to the thing, and he wrote a power book with 4 Ps and so on, and sent it to him, and he declared that it has had a value of $2,000 to the or $200 or something to the post office where the value of the thing. I think it was $2,000. He said. So this scammer, he had to pay 400 and something dollars in toll just to receive the pizza box with some keycaps and a broken mouse and so on.
Actually, so I just thought of this. See, if you want to support, I don't know, somebody small who builds PCs, believe me, you know somebody. If not you,
Yeah.
somebody in your friend group will know somebody who built PCs. Go to
Yeah.
them. Do not trust a random on the internet.
Yeah.
If that person doesn't build a good PC for you for what you wanted, you can still talk to them directly.
Yeah.
There is nothing else you can do when you get, shall we say, scammed by a guy on the internet.
Yeah, the first computer that I bought, I have had 2 or 3 computers at the time. Was from a friend in my church who ran his own computer business, and he sold to the local university with 50,000 students and so on every now and again. So he had just the year before sold 100,000 computers to the university and so on. It was a big deal. So he ran all of this from his home. So I ended up buying 2 computers from him over the course of 3 years or something. So if you know someone, they would appreciate the business, and then you have some place that you can actually go to and talk to if something is wrong, and they usually will find a satisfactory solution.
Yeah, to get back to Linux, we've been sidetracked with that conversation a little
We
bit
have?
too long.
what?
To get back to Linux, there is one major thing that happened. The Valve is releasing 3 new devices: the Steam VR thingy, and the box, and the glasses, the controller. So I am one who's thinking the computer makes no sense because it's an open platform. They will buy it to use it as a computer. They're not gonna help Valve make money through games. They're gonna buy it and use it as a normal computer. There's people will either buy it or just build a computer similar to it. So I thought to myself, with all these gaming oriented distros like Bazite, like CacheOS, like parts of CachyOS, not all of CachyOS, but like Garuda have their own version. There's the crypto one that's coming out, and so many others that are coming out. Those Linux distros. What's the point of making a machine? I've been thinking about it for a while. I'm like, with all these gaming-oriented distros that are coming out, people can just build a PC and make it into a console, put it on the TV, and call it a day. What's the point for Valve to do it?
Well, they're still going to install Steam on it, right? Regardless of what operating system.
You can install Steam and put it in picture mode, have it start up just as easily on any Linux distro.
Yeah, but Valve's still going to make money off the games they sell.
Yeah. There
and
are
also, if Valve is
why...
the one, and if Valve is the one either making the operating system or the system where it's going to be on, they will make something that they know works as it should, so that you don't have to reconfigure something afterwards.
I mean, if you want to wipe out Steam OS and install Windows, I doubt Valve cares if you're still going to put Steam on it and buy the games.
No. Let's be clear. First of all, let's be clear. Valve says you directly on their marketing page, install whatever OS you want.
Right. Because it doesn't matter to them.
Part of their marketing. It is your computer. They literally say that. But I'm gonna say why I think it makes sense for Valve to make Steam Machine the box, because there is a lot of people who do not wanna install an operating system, who do not want to build a computer, install an operating system. So to have something that is a computer, a box with the default SteamOS is always good for them as a default installed thing that people can just order, plug in, and make work. Problem for them and for us, more specifically for us, is the fact that they will have to price it in such a way that people won't just buy it for being a good computer. So
the
do
price
not
is
expect console
still a big
prices
question.
as a price will be. I can tell you right now, price will be close if not above $1,000.
Yeah, I think so too.
Price will be comparable to equal computer.
Yeah, because most people, they don't install operating systems. They buy a computer that has an operating system installed, and they will generally use whatever is installed, and that has for the last 30 years have been Windows generally.
Yeah.
Most people don't know how to install an operating system because, especially as Linux has gotten more popular here in the last few years, I get a ton of questions from, hey, I really like this Linux thing I've been seeing, I want to try it out. How do I install it?
Yeah.
And then, and if somebody has to ask you how to install it, well, then you got to explain, well, go download the ISO. What's an ISO? Okay.
Yeah.
Then you need to write it to a USB stick. Okay. What do I use to write it to a USB stick? I don't own a USB stick. And then what program even the real basic stuff that we just take for granted, like a normal person, they have no idea what the hell you're talking about.
Yeah, the problem is that for these types of people, you have to write a manual in order for them to get a USB stick or
no. I'll correct you.
In order to start going, because they have no idea what they're doing.
Yeah, then reboot the machine, hit F12 to get into the BIOS, make sure you boot off the USB stick. You'd have to explain so much.
You mean shipping physical manuals should actually come back?
That's not a bad idea.
That's not a bad idea, but I'm going to add to this. Don't ship a text manual. Ship an IKEA-style manual with pictures. Yeah. Because they are visual people nowadays. So the more pictures you add, the easier it'll be for them. If you just add a bunch of text, they're going to end up Googling every single word in the sentence.
Yeah. I have had to install Linux on a few systems for a few friends and my brother and so on. And I always install Linux Mint because they have an OEM install, because I don't like to know what passwords and so on people have, because they, and I always tell them before I discover the OEM install that they should change their password once they got the system, and usually I don't think they
Not
do.
a lot of people do change their passwords. Yeah. Like my sister, for example. That's
well, if it's a store situation, what you could do, you could install it using whatever password, and then before they actually leave with that machine, you enter the command to change the password and then just hand it to them. Type something.
Yeah.
Right? And that's your password.
If you have an operating system that is actually usable, you're gonna have an OEM mode
Yeah.
or out of the box
Well,
experience
well,
mode.
Well,
So you
well
can
most
just
things are
literally-
going to have one. Most of the big Linux distros are going to.
Arch doesn't, but you shouldn't install.
Well,
Arch on a
I would
customer
never
PC
install
anyway.
Arch on. I would never install Arch on a
You should start
machine
on
for
your own
somebody else.
PC, but okay.
Yeah.
yeah, but here's the thing. My sister, when she got the apartment, she got a ISP router and modem and whatever. I when I arrived the first time I went there, when I arrived, I kept asking my sister, "What's the password to log in to the modem?" Because I wanted to check the settings to configure my stuff to be secure and whatnot. She was like, "Huh? What are you talking about?" I'm like, "The password to go into the modem to configure the modem." She was like, "I don't know." And when I entered the modem, there was no password. It was just admin with no password.
Yeah.
Perfect.
So insecure. I added a password and I gave it to her, but I was like, "Yeah, you should change the password on everything you get." Like when she bought her MacBook Pro, their 13-inch MacBook Pro in 2014. I installed the operating system for her, and I didn't set a password. I told her, "Sis, you have to set up a password." Her system stayed without a password ever since I sold it to her from the store, of course, where I used to work. Ever since I sold it to her until this day, she still doesn't have a password on there. And knowing that she had her phone stolen a month prior.
Yeah, I have a friend who is an airplane mechanic. He works at he is the mechanic for a local medevac unit. And when he worked in Tromsø, north in Norway, he was waiting for an airport in order to go somewhere. And while he had checked in, and he was in the enclosed secure area. And after waiting for, I think they waited for 2 hours to board the plane. He didn't mind. So after about 1 hour, he went to one of the doors that you had to have a password in order to enter from one secure area to another insecure area, and so on. So he punched a code in the code box. Opened the door and closed it, and then he commented to someone, "They're still using the default password."
Yeah. You see that common, especially in old hotels. They're still using the default password that comes on the router on the back.
You see that with everything. You see that with people's luggage. They're still using the default combination.
00000.
Right. Yeah. It's like, why would you not change that?
the boss on the job that I volunteered at before moving here, he had so he was 80 years old at the time, and he had a briefcase that he has been having for maybe 30 years, and it still had the red plastic thingy through the combination lock that you're supposed to rip off and change. And so that combination lock has never been in the locked position since the factory.
One of my favorites
is... It reminds me of Spaceballs. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah. Damn, that's the same combination I have on my luggage, Captain.
Well, I see this with people's machines, because people will bring me computers to install Linux on, or their Linux machines sometimes to do things, update the system or something. I remember... situations like, hey, they bring me in a laptop with Ubuntu on it. Hey, get into your machine, enter your password, and you watch them type the password, and the password's Ubuntu. And it's like, you think that's a good password? Ubuntu. Right?
Nailed it.
You probably want to pick something a little better.
Was, but someone made he makes a lot of fun songs. He made the system administrator song, and somewhere in there he talks about. So the song is about a sysadmin that has to help these clueless users because they do everything wrong. And someone that he helped was someone whose password didn't work, and so sometimes he has to change that password. And then, but he just pressed the caps lock key and then he walked away, and suddenly the password worked. Hooray! So yeah.
One thing we should discuss, since we're coming up toward the end here, Murray, do you want to discuss some Conch shell? Have you been trying it out? I don't know if he stepped away. Well, I'll speak on my experience. I've lived in it now for the last couple of weeks. Yeah.
I was going to ask you about your experience.
It's been lovely so far. I've obviously had to play with my my config, my rc.py, because when I made my video installing it for the first time on this machine the other day, which was actually live, me putting that on, you know, I had already done it at the home computer, but I'd just done that earlier that day. So, you know, a couple of things that I ran into right away is I needed to add a few directories to the path in my shell config. For example, .local/bin, got a lot of scripts there that, you know, execute, but had to add that to the shell's path. I had to add the applications directory for app images to work properly. And then there was one other thing, bash completions. I didn't know Conch actually used the bash completions package for its completions. So that's nice because I already got the bash completions package installed on all my systems anyway. But you do have to add a line to set a variable for the bash completion. You got to tell it the exact path to where the bash completion file is on your system. It's, you know, user share something another. Right.
What about jumping to directories using Oxide, Zoxide or?
Zoxide, I don't have that installed on this machine. I might have it on my home computer, but I don't really use it. So,
you know, yeah, there's an Xcontrib that does that.
Is there? Okay.
Plugin, yes.
Okay.
The other thing, do you find anything that didn't work?
No.
I did.
Did you? What did you find?
Miniconda. So you want to activate a virtual environment. It didn't work in Conch, but it works in Bash. And several other things like that. I have a bunch of Bash scripts. I have 1,000 of them actually, and they don't work directly in the terminal. That's the one.
Well, I have found a couple of things like I can't remember what it was. There was something I was trying to run a command line, just a command line. I was doing something, and the command did not work in Conch, and I know it works in Bash. I can't remember exactly what it was or why.
Did you code any Python functions and try to run them in Conch?
I did not, but I did have somebody contribute to my GitLab. They pushed. They saw my alias problem with the like ... you know, seeding up, you know, two directories.
Oh yeah,
and they wrote a neat little function to where now I can do the comma, because the dots are they're used too commonly in, you know, Python with numbers and things. So he created a function where if I type 3 commas, it goes up, you know, a directory, or 4 commas, it goes up, you know, 3 directories or whatever, or 4 directories. Nice. So it's however many commas you type and you hit enter, you go up that many directories. So
there's an Xcontrib for that as well. On it. Yeah, the other thing is one annoyance that I found was when you type in, you write a function without any arguments, you have to put the parenthesis after the command, and that's I don't. It's awkward, but you can get around it with aliases. You use the alias and then the function name, and then you can enter the function without the parenthesis on it. And what was I going to say? Oh yeah.
Yeah, I had somebody, you know, make a nice little commit to my rc.py. One of the things, really just one of the biggest things he did is he created an alias for all the $_veev dot application, you know, like it, and there's a million lines that start with that. He's like, yeah, just alias that to venv. And like it makes the whole thing like a whole lot cleaner. So
okay. Humor me for a second. Go into your browser and enter in the address bar find.com, PHIND.com. and in the prompt enter describe conch, Consh.
Yeah. I'll do it from my
Scroll
phone.
Scroll down to the bottom, and what you see at the bottom.
Conch. Conch.
Describe Conch is what we're going to ask it.
Describe Conch, he said.
And then scroll down to the bottom. You should see something interesting.
Or just
At least I did earlier today.
getting a generation error. I don't know what the hell that is. I don't know if it's
Anyone
site.
anyone else?
From.
No, it's your video on Conch. It's the very last entry on it.
Well, you know what? I think we may have actually caused the site to crash by all of us typing the same thing in it at the site. I don't know. That was weird. It did come up at first, and then I got an error message for the page. Like, hey, we've got a problem here.
So there is a long time term that is slash dotting a site. So did we just distro this site?
Yeah. It does not shock me, though, that my video would come up, because if you do a search in YouTube for Conch shell, like there's nothing. There's a few like really technical talks at like Python conferences and stuff like that nobody'd be interested in watching. But as far as actual people like using the shell interactively, like, you know, you got a million videos on things like Fish or ZSH, but you've got nothing on Conch. And it's kind of shocking because it's been around forever. I've heard about it for years. I've just now I'm getting around to taking a look at it.
Is that the terminal with the side pane that shows you your file manager that doesn't disappear?
No.
Was it?
No.
No, I thought that was the one. Because GT made a video of that too.
It's still actively maintained. About every 6 months they have a new release, and I think monthly they have patches to it. And there's an active team working on it, so it's kept up to date too.
Did you talking about Conch? Yeah, I mean, I checked out the GitHub, and it's definitely got active development. So.
Yeah. So what else? There's a package manager to replace pip. It's called UV.
Yep, and I've heard of it.
It's becoming the de facto standard, and it's really good. One thing it can do is install Python versions on your machine. So in 5 minutes, you could have Python 3.14 on your machine, and it would not interfere with your existing Python on it. And you could use that to create your app image, your virtual environments. And it's recommended now that you don't use your existing system to create virtual environments.
You know what? I'm glad you accidentally said something about app images there, Murray, because one of the questions I got about a lot, or one of the comments I got on my video about Conch was, man, you got to put that thing in a virtual environment. It's like, well, you know what? You could just app image the whole Conch shell if you want. There's nothing preventing you from doing that.
There is an app image for it, I believe.
Is there an official one? Or is it?
I think so. Oh. I have to check it, but I did.
Well, I might actually use that then. Yeah, that's not. I think I'd rather use that because it would be just simpler to have that, you know, that one binary, right? That one container there.
It came with Python built into it, if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
So wait a minute, you guys install Python packages using the virtual environment? Just go to either the AUR or the Arch repository and install those packages via Python-package name.
Because these days Arch wants you to use virtual environments for all that Python stuff. You don't ever get the little message in the terminal when you're doing stuff with Python. It tells you, hey, you need to create a virtual environment, Steve.
Not all of them. No, that's the reason they created the packages Python-package name, because it does that. The package builder does that.
But why do you want to pollute your Pac-Man -QQ, with all them Python libraries when you could just install them in pip in these virtual environments, and then you don't have to worry about this massive update every time you take an update on your system.
Yeah,
Steve.
true.
Exactly. That's it. And
The reason the reason I say that is because I use mkdocs, which is a Python static web generator, wiki generator.
Yep.
It's all Python, so I'm like, oh, I need to install the video plugin. I don't want to create the virtual environment. I'll just find the package on AUR and install it that way.
Yeah, I'm the same. I always prefer the packaged version of anything before I will find the virtual version.
The fact that you have to create a virtual environment and it isn't transparent is a problem, in my opinion, for Python.
The one advantage is that, say you install Conch with a virtual environment, you can install all the packages you want to use it. If you use Y-Finance or Matplotlib or Pandas or NumPy, you can install it in the virtual environment. Then when you go to your prompt, you just say import pandas and away you go.
Yeah.
You can customize it the way you want.
Also, if you ever want to remove it, I mean, you delete the one directory that contains the virtual environment, and it's all gone.
It doesn't pollute your system. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Which reminds me, why isn't Arch on Python 3.14 yet?
Are they not?
No, they're on 3.13 still.
But that's why you want UV. You can install it in 3 minutes. It's not in your path, but it will be in your path. It will be installed into local bin, and you can have it in 5 minutes on a Debian desktop.
They probably, is it going to be one of those situations where you have to recompile all your AR built packages when they do the update? Maybe they're holding it back for that.
No, maybe.
Okay.
Maybe, but there's a command I saw that, in on Zero Linux, I use a Arch updater widget in the panel. It's called App Data Fire, but it's got an option. It's got a wonderful option, but I've never used it because I don't want to break my system. But it's an option to rebuild Python packages against the latest Python installed on your system, because if you have, let's say, a mkdocs plugin written inside the Python 13 and you have Python 14 installed, it's not going to work until you rebuild the package against the new Python. So it goes into Python 3.14. It does that all for you. You select that option, you hit enter, and it will do all that for you. It's just going to rebuild the packages against the new Python once it gets there on Arch. I'm like, okay, extra step to do, but at least it's automated.
Very cool.
So speaking of questions that people have, one, it's a few minutes old now, but there was one who was asking for the Zoom link, and just in case there are people who are supporters, open the Patreon page, and the link to this will be on that.
Yeah.
For those who didn't know.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's in the show description. Well, not the link to the Zoom chat, but the link to the Patreon. It tells them, hey, go to Patreon. That's where you're going to get the link if you're a member. So let's go ahead and get a last word from everybody. I want to make sure that I get out of here at 12 today, because at 12:15, I actually have to be on another call for something else I'm doing today. I'm on a bit of a schedule. So everybody can take a minute or two and talk about whatever it is they want to get out before we close the stream. Steve, give us the last word.
All right. Don't trust shady sellers, especially on Facebook Marketplace, especially for hardware.
Why would you buy on Facebook Marketplace?
A lot of people are going on Facebook Marketplace.
That's scam central, Steve. I mean,
I was giving it as an example. Facebook Marketplace, eBay, whatever. Just if you cannot.
Mark Zuckerberg should be ashamed for even allowing that to exist.
Yeah, it's like, don't trust shady stuff like that unless you can test it yourself. The seller will allow you to test it before you buy it. If you're just buying blind and waiting to receive a functional item, most of the time your hopes are way too high. Just be careful when you do that. And I just for once in my life, I wanna. And for once on this podcast, I mean, I want to plug Zero Linux the right way, look out for the next release of Zero Linux, because it's gonna have so many good things that we've been working very hard on. They're amazing new features that no other distro has. So keep an eye out, and it will be coming first week of January if everything goes smoothly, the way they have been for the past few months. It'll be out the first week of January, and Zero Linux now supports crypto. If you want to donate via crypto, I just need to update the website. If you want to donate via crypto because you don't want to pay via cash or credit card, and since we don't support PayPal, then you have an option to. So there you go. Thank you, DT, for another amazing Patreon cast. And let's see if 2026 will bring in the Linux world. Hopefully more than the past few months, because past few months were a little bit stale.
No, AI will dominate Linux in 2026. Just wait.
Oh no!
All right, thank you, Steve.
No problem.
Big Pod, take a minute or two and give us a last word.
Okay, so if you didn't know, on Monday there was a release of episode of No Tax Allowed with DistroTube. Go check it out.
I heard about it. I heard it was good.
We had an amazing host for that episode. Highly recommended to check out.
Then you guys also had a live stream, didn't you, on the 26th? Yeah. Because I got the notification. I had to watch a little bit of it the next day because I wasn't around when you went live. But that was an interesting discussion.
Nice stream a couple of days ago, and that episode will be uploaded on Monday, tomorrow.
Very cool.
Actually, in a couple of hours, I'll be streaming the editing of the episode. So check out No Tax Allowed channel for that as well.
All right. Yeah, I might check out a little bit of that. Appreciate it, Big Pod. Murray, do you have any more Python related news or anything to share with us?
Only 4.
Okay.
First one is Upscale, which is free and open source AI image upscaler. Works
spelled
really
with
well.
a Y. It's spelled with a Y, right? Yeah.
That's right. That's the one. It works very well. It's a GUI only, and it can scale from a factor of 1 to 9 from your original image. And it takes for a factor of 1, it takes about 20 seconds. And there's a light mode and a standard mode, and it works extremely well on that. The other thing is, if you're in BTOP and you scroll down, you're going to see a lot of things like bash repetitively all the time when you're running scripts. It just shows up as bash, or Python 3. If you have a script that's giving you a problem and you want to be able to identify it in BTOP, you create a symbolic link to bash, call it, say, capital BSH, and then run your script with BSH. And then in BTOP, it'll show, you scroll down, you'll see the BSH in there instead of bash. So any symbolic link to a binary, when you look at it in things like BTOP, it will show up as the symbolic link name to it from that one.
Or you could name the file exactly what you want to name it.
Well, you're running a script with bash my script.
Yeah.
It's going to show up as bash. It's not going to show up as my script in the BTOP. So this way you could,
depending on how you run it.
Well, that's my experience anyway. The other thing is in shebang lines in bash, if you use user bin VNV space bash or space sh or space fish, you're only allowed one argument. You can't have bash -i. But if you put in user bin env -capital S, then you can have multiple arguments. You can put the -i in there, and when you run the script, it'll go through your bash RC file and modify your path or include any functions you have in there as well.
Nice little trick. I like that.
Yeah.
The other thing is I found out how app images work. One last thing in there. If you say you have a Conch app image, you run it in the terminal, and you split the screen and you run Conch again, It does not bring up a new app image. It uses the same one that it did the first time on it. And similarly, if you use Conch and you go away and then come back and enter it again, it still uses the same one. So once you launch an app images, it stays there until you reboot the system or you explicitly kill it. So from that out.
Very cool.
And that's about it. Prediction, they're going to rename Washington, D.C. to Washington, D.T.
All right, Murray. Appreciate that. Soulboo, give us a last word, sir.
Yeah, so I think I've said this a few times. So I create, I'm using AI tools, but so I create music that I share on YouTube. So the text is all mine. It's just the audio part. And on the 23rd of December, it was 2 years ago since my sister was found dead in her home. It was by her own hand to be friendly to YouTube. So on the 23rd of this week, I made a song commemorating her. So if people want to see it, there's a link to my YouTube channel on my website, soulboo.net. I'm using the name the Soul Bus on the channel name, but there's a bus company also called Soul Bus that in Poland, I believe. That they are manufacturing, so you might get the wrong channel. So I'm still going with music, and it's interesting.
All right, appreciate that, Soulboo. George, would you like to give us a last word?
Thanks for the great chat and doing this every month. Had a good time.
All right, appreciate that, George. And my last word is thanking you guys for hanging out with me on camera. Appreciate all the guys also that are chatting in the YouTube chat. You guys are awesome. And then I'm going to thank all the patrons here. I've got some patron cards here, some end credits here, which should be updated as of this morning. So I know it'd been a while since I've updated these. And I had a patron actually remind me to update these earlier this morning, and his name was Master Chief John. Your name's up here, sir. So I appreciate you messaging me and telling me, hey, lazy guy, update your patron cards. All right. And other than that, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year to each and every one of you guys. Peace.
God bless you all.